nice and warm April evening. A diabolical, awe-inspiring, gut-wrenching leg day was about to unfold. Now the accuracy of that statement is still in the air, you know. So if this is a wussy leg day, tell me. No, but it'll be good. I want to get some squats going too. So instead of driving down, you know, an extra 30 minutes to a different gym that I like for Smith machine squats, today I want to do some barbell. So no freaking need, you know. That is one benefit of, well, I don't know. I won't even call it a benefit. It's more like an adaptation to already having a pre-existing drawback. You know, if you got a gym that's really close to your house, but it doesn't have a Smith machine, or they don't have heavy enough dumbbells for you, or their hours are kind of weird, then you may need to go to a different gym, just because you got to make up for some of the faults of the one that's next to you. Not everything is absolutely perfect for everybody's routine, as unfortunate as that may be. So that's kind of my logic. That's part of the reason why I like having multiple gym memberships. Because some gyms have shit that other ones don't. Plus it's a different vibe too, you know? There's different people at different gyms. And even the gym itself, if the equipment at your disposal was the same, yes, you know, sometimes just the lighting and the fucking ambiance and the music and just everything about it, might kind of change. You know, people are, I don't have to tell you this, but people are picky sometimes. You know, sometimes you want to take the long way to work because you got a better view, right? Shit like that. But it definitely comes in handy when a gym that's pretty close to your house has everything you need. And if they don't, aka let's say you don't have a gym really close to your house and you want to get on your daily cardio, I don't even want to call it a grind, because once you start doing it, it just becomes second nature. But for some people, daily cardio does seem like a fucking grind. So if your gym's kind of far, yeah, it's not a good move to drive like 20 minutes to your gym, do 30 minutes worth of cardio, and then drive 20 minutes home. You're literally driving more than you're even doing the thing that you're going to do. So in that case, I would recommend at-home cardio of any method. You know, you jog, you could do a treadmill. Treadmills are super cheap for sure. I mean, people are fucking giving away treadmills on Craigslist or whatever else. But I'm personally a little bit more inclined to do some seated recumbent bike, which, I mean, it's just fucking S tier, man, you know? I feel like the Stairmaster, you're doing a little bit too much work. You know, your quads are gonna be on fire, your glutes are gonna be fucking firing. Whereas, you know, it's something like the seated bike, you kind of just get to sit there and pedal. You know, you get like maybe a slight quad pump, but nothing that's actually gonna fucking affect you. Like I did the seated bike today. I guess this is kind of something I could clear up. Do I think that cardio in the morning is going to affect my leg workout right now? Or do I go easy on cardio the day after a leg day? Usually, no. Nah. Even if I have a really crazy leg day, my legs are still kind of sore. I may go a little bit easier on the intensity and like make the difficulty on the bike a little bit lower. Because, I mean, I don't want to really stress my quads after I just, you know, actually worked them intentionally the night before. But I don't think having a good lift is an excuse not to do your cardio. You know, your cardio is not so taxing that it's going to absolutely fucking, you know, wreck you for your lifts or completely explode your fucking recovery. So, cardio in the morning, you do your whole day. By the time it's time to lift, you'll be totally fine. You know, you could not. let's say I time traveled to a day where I didn't do my cardio, and it was now 7:30 like it is, and I had to, you know, feel the difference. You can't fucking tell, you know, unless you're doing really crazy cardio, like fucking miles upon miles of running talking quarter marathon, or if you're doing like jujitsu practice, shit that's really gonna take the wind out of you, that's a little different. But cardio in a bodybuilding, you know, not even bodybuilding, cardio in just like a general health kind of situation, because that, I mean, that's a big part of it, you know. Apart from the fact that I do say, you know, the cardio is going to make me lift better, it is just good for you. And the more shit you can do like that, I mean, we all know, the better, right? You can go to sleep on time, drink your water, take your Flintstones gummy vitamin. You know, it's just something you should do, and if you don't, you know you should. But enough cardio talk. I know I really force that down your throats sometimes. But plan for legs. Hamstrings will be seated curls, followed by something, you know, to be determined. I might do some hip hinging, maybe do some RDLs as well. I'll just have to see. But it should not take me too long. Set-wise, when I'm dieting down, my hamstrings get to a point of pretty solidly pumped a little bit quicker than my quads do, you know. So if I only do 5 sets of hamstrings and more like maybe 7 or 8 sets of quads, by the time I've done those 5 and by the time I've done those 7 for the quads, they'll kind of each feel like they've been sufficiently hit, you know. And that's kind of the whole fucking point right now. I don't need to completely obliterate my fucking target muscle. I'm trying to stimulate them such that they'll be fucking maintained while I diet down and try to peel off the fat, you know, just globally distributed on my freaking build. But I'm excited to squat. My adductors feel good, hips feel good, everything feels good. It's fucking perfect. So let's hope no bad juju enters my fucking mind, and we can have a really good leg day. So this is a little bit of, let's just say, a lighter hamstring curl, at least relative to all the ones that I've used before. But given I'm dieted down and just physically not as strong, I mean, still, maybe strong's not the right word. Because like, if I tested my 1 rep maxes, I think they'd be kind of similar, but my muscular endurance is like way fucking, let's just say it's way lower than when I'm full of carbs. So even though it's a little bit less weight than I would probably want for a good top set, it's gonna hit me hard. So a few seated curls, and honestly, this might be all hamstrings right here. You are gonna work your hamstrings a bit in pressing movements because you do sort of get a little bit of a hip hinge. So I'm not too concerned with making sure I always get hip hinging movements for hamstrings. And also, hamstring curls hit me really fucking well. Okay. A few more like that. A few more. Okay. One more like that. And then we can move on to quads. Okay. All right. Set or two of leg extensions, and then squats. The real fucking main course of today. But even after just 5 fucking sets of leg extensions, of leg curls, my hamstrings are fucking cooked. I'm not really one to believe that, well, I mean, I guess clearly I think leg curls are the best way to go about it for me, because that's really all I do. But in terms of hip hinging, it's hard for me not to get my glutes involved, and it's more of a squeeze. Like, I don't know why I don't really feel the same stretch as I can with these seated curls. So I do them every so often, but if you just love spamming hamstring curls, you want to keep hamstring simple, I don't think you're going to go wrong going hard on hamstring curls. But let's scoot one machine over. Just because it's an isolation movement doesn't mean you have to go light all the time. So 2 sets of heavy leg extensions, single leg, and then I sort of say in a bro sciencey way, I'm going to be prepped and warmed up and activated. So, you know, it's kind of weird and like maybe isn't something you'd initially come to the conclusion of, is even though I'm about to do 2 hard fucking sets of leg extensions, when I go over to do squats after this, I'm still going to feel pretty fucking strong. And I think part of that is just because it's only 2 sets, it's not that much workload. But I think the action of really activating your quads almost gives you a little bit of extra, let's just say, force output. Like sometimes I'll do a first set of leg press. This is kind of a while ago. I haven't really been doing leg press as of late, but I do 1 set. And then for the second set, I'd get more reps just because I'm already like, I don't know, I guess in a bro sciencey way, I think my neurons are firing harder. But either way, 2 hard ones here, and then find a rack and get some real lifts. Get some real weight lifted. One more. Just okay. All right. Quads are well on their way to pumped and fucking fully activated. Let's load some steel. Fuck. I usually just cut straight to the working set, but that completely skips the fucking, 4 pretty much warm-up sets that I have to do before I get up to like 5-ish plates, which I may not be strong enough for today. That's just usually what I can do. So if it feels good, I'll go for it. If I feel like 4 is heavy enough, I'll stop at 4. But kind of not even to warm up in a sense. I'm already warm. My quads are fucking on fire. Hamstrings are pumped up as well. And I don't use much glutes and lower back in the way that I squat because I'm reasonably upright. So really all I'm trying to do is get exposed to the weight. So 1 plate, 3-4 reps, 2 plates, honestly 2 onward, and really just doing like 2 reps, maybe even just 1. And that's just to get a feel for it. And by the time I get to 5, it doesn't feel too crazy. I'm already exposed to that much load on my back. So, you know, whenever I show one of these videos and I jump straight to this first set of squats, I always move up in 1 plate increments, which depending on your strength level, you may have to do, you know, 25-pound increments and do a plate, a 25, 2 plates, 225, 3, you know, just, but I want to lean towards as few warm-ups as possible. You know, I don't want to sit here and do 1 plate in the 25, 2 plates, 2 in the 25, 3. It's going to take me fucking forever. You know, 1 plate, 100-pound jump nearly each warm-up set. It's enough for me where by the time I get to that top set, I feel like I'm not going to get crushed and I'm used to it. But let's, I'll just clip the warm-ups and then we can get to the first working set of squats. One plate might almost be too light to start, but let's keep going up. If I had to give you a few, let's just say squatting tips that I try to think about. Of course, brace, but I think almost not more important, you got a brace, but the two things I think about a lot are keeping my back nice and straight. Like, oh my goodness, if you're squatting with a round back, for one thing, you're probably gonna fucking destroy your lumbar and your slip a disc and whatever else. Well, actually, I guess that is the risk. So straight back, and then keep your head up. Like imagine keeping your chin up while you're squatting, or at least like vertical, because your body's gonna follow wherever your head goes. So if you're squatting a ton of fucking weight and your head starts to fall down, I mean, we've all seen the videos where dudes are squatting, they get to the bottom and their whole upper back rounds forward. If you try to keep your head up manually, I think that will help you with that. But let's keep going up. Yeah, we're good. All right. Now all I gotta do is get hyped up and hit this shit for real. Yeah. Okay, fine. That was a good set. Oh, just got hit with a light head wave. That one was really fucking good. I need to think about what I need to do next, because another set of squats might be a bit much. How about I catch my breath first? Fuck. I gotta drop it to 4 plates 5's too many, but same intensity. I might go a little slower though. Oh shit. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay. No. I think that's enough fucking squats. Holy crap. Why did that? Oh, well, I know why. But those first few reps felt fucking heavier than the 5-plate ones. Holy crap. Let's go do some isolation of some variety. Ugh. So plan now, single leg extensions. I'm gonna do one leg, then the other, then the other, then the other, 5 reps each side, and really just kind of burn out. Honestly, at this point, I'm not even necessarily attempting to get like my peak muscular failure. Like that was pretty much on those squats. These sets are more so, let's just say, motivated to maximize my fucking quad pump. Because even though those are really hard sets of squats, my quads aren't like super fucking inflated with blood. So if I were to kind of condense my basic approach to a good kind of hypertrophy workout, the beginning of the workout, I think, should emphasize heavier, harder sets. That's where you're really hitting failure with a heavy weight. Whereas towards the end of the lift, it's a little bit more biased towards just trying to get as pumped as possible, sort of burning sets. You know, I'm not going to do the whole stack. I'm only doing fucking half on each leg. So literally half the weight I was doing before. But once my quads are, I mean, really just once they're fucking pumped to hell and they burn, I'm going to say, all right, let's go check the pump, drop the drawers and see what I'm working with. So I'll do a few different styles of leg extensions. I'll just talk about each one as I actually do it. Okay. Don't jump in sissy squats. My girlfriend got okay. A few more. My dad okay.
One more. Alternating reps, but heavier than before. None of this light squeezing. Not BS, but not a light squeezing set for sure. I definitely want to be a little British with this one. And also pick a little bit better of a song. Yeah. There we go. Pull that here. Okay. Holy shit. There we go. Okay. Let's go pose down and discuss. That was a good leg day, but there are points to be made. Okay, so quads were wrecked and I went fucking heavy, but they're not like insanely pumped, which, I mean, fuck, man, it's just the nature of dieting. You know, I'm not gonna be freaky fucking pumped just because I don't have enough, you know, fluids in my body to facilitate it, right? Even though I'm perfectly well hydrated, I drank more than enough water and electrolytes today. You know, even though hydration-wise I'm good, I'm not full of fucking carbs, which, I mean, for me to go from right now to fully carved up in, like, let's say it took me 3 or 4 days of like 800 grams of carbs per day, I would literally blow up to the point where, like, you'd think it was a multiple month progression. Because right now I'm as flat as can fucking be. I only had 150 grams of carbs today. And I've only got 300 for the whole fucking day. Which may sound like a lot, but at 240, I think this morning, I don't know, I didn't weigh myself this morning. I've been about 243, so I was probably 242 this morning. At 242, fucking decently lean, you know, near 10% body fat, 300 carbs is, it's low. It's on the low end. But still a good lift. Definitely got more than enough fucking muscle stimulation to the point where I know my quad size and strength isn't going anywhere. But let's actually take a closer look and see if I've got any new, see if there's any new veins popping out. And then one tip, if you ever, if you're doing the same pose down style, where you know, you do quads and you do legs in pants, and then you take your shorts off. This may be a very specific tip, but I like tucking my shirt in so that my waist is actually real size instead of being extra big from the shirt, just because it makes your quads look bigger, you know. I mean, that's classic, that's bodybuilding proportions 101. The smaller you can make your waist appear, the bigger everything else will. So let's, what's underneath these pants? Massive legs, have they shrunk? Are they covered in veins? Are they flat? Let's find out, you know, no point pondering. But if I were a betting man, they're not as freaky as peak bulk. But as the weeks progress, they should start to get even crazier because they'll start to get veinier. I mean, even now I'm seeing a little bit of veins. Just nothing, nothing jaw-dropping yet. Let me, I mean, yeah, that's a quad. That's a quad I'm fucking proud of, too. And we're starting to see a little bit of striations on this outer head. When I'm really lean, or no, when I'm unpumped, I can start to see some serious feathering on the outside of this one. And a little bit on the teardrop of this one, which the leaner I get, once this little bit of pinchable fat starts really thinning out, that sort of thing is going to be way more fucking noticeable. But let me try to do a breath hold and really pop the veins out of my left quad. Oh, a little. Oh, even doing that, I just felt a touch lightheaded. But let's run through a few quad poses, and then we can actually get out of here. Hey man, that's a fucking quad if I've ever seen one, for sure. All right, good separation between hamstring quad. That's this little shadow here. Not really pro bodybuilder level. I mean, those guys, their hamstrings fucking hang off the back of their arm or the back of their upper leg like fucking crazy. But the resemblance is certainly appearing, which I am all fucking for. Yeah, killer. So, fuck, man. You know, I was just telling this to somebody. I have been approaching my training with a very open fucking mind. You know, listening to larger folk, smaller folk, controlled squeezing reps. You know, I'm talking fucking light sets, really holding it for a second. And if you've watched a lot of these, even though I still do some of my kind of classic Sam style training workouts, some of these lifts have looked very different than in the past. And you know what? I think I've let myself be subject to the dogma of, let's just call it, what's even a good word for it? Let's just call it general consensus. Oh, the general consensus is don't do leg extensions too heavy. You know, don't squat too heavy. You know, don't do hamstring curls too heavy. Go light and squeeze it. And look, fuck. If that's what you like, if that's the training style that gives you results, and you've done it for long enough and you know that, then do it. That's fucking sweet. But the sets of leg extensions and the sets of push downs and curls, where I do it how I know that I'm gonna like it, those are my best lifts. So I need to put a fucking shield up. Because even me, I think even though I'm pretty, let's just say, immune to, I don't want to say criticism. No, that's not the right word. Let me try to reformulate this thought. Even though, you know, I lift kind of how I like, and it gives me a good pump, and that's what I've grown with, I'm still open to, you know, learning new information, of course. I'm always listening. Whenever I get to train with anybody really fucking successful bodybuilding-wise, for the like 80% of the time, I follow their workout to a T. I let them lead, and I follow, and I kind of learn what they have to say, and their style, and their rep schemes, and everything. But, look, you gotta remember, you are the one training. You are the one doing this shit. And it's not all gonna be written out for you fucking perfectly. There's no training book where if you read the whole thing, every single part of that training is gonna apply directly to your build and your style, and just, I mean, partially even just your fucking preferences. You know, if for you, you have a way easier time wrecking your quads by doing a lot of weight on leg extensions and kind of, you know, throwing it around, heavy weight, kind of quicker reps, you still have a ton of tension in the muscle, then fuck, man, that's what you got to do. You know, if somebody is gonna, like, I used to say this all the time, I don't know why I haven't been. If I saw somebody fucking jacked and they're doing curls in kind of a weird fucking way, but the guy's jacked, then guess what? Looks like it fucking works. You know, this is kind of my main gripe, is like, there's like the general consensus of the approach to training, bodybuilding wise, has become so like self-policed, where it's just so fucking stupid, you know? I mean, you gotta remember, you're a fucking, as a beginner lifter and a real kind of early on to intermediate lifter, you're a bird in the nest. You know, you're gonna watch Mama Bird, aka really advanced lifters, you know, social media influencers, bodybuilders, guys showing, you know, their training videos. You know, you're learning the basics, right? You're looking at your Mama Bird and saying, okay, so this is how I fucking flap my wings. That makes sense. But you gotta leave the nest and fly off on your own and figure it out yourself. You know, the guy who actually gets hands-on experience with something, tries different things out, realizes what works, has an actual deep understanding of the things that he likes to do and the results that it's going to give him specifically, that's way better than somebody who's just training straight off the book, you know, listening to every fucking schmo's gripe and, you know, complain about their training style. I mean, look, I want everybody to get fucking huge, but I think the best way to go about that is for you to discover the path and the style and the, you know, the amount of effort that you need to put in to do that on your own. You know, this isn't a one-way street, right? This isn't a mountain with only one path up, and you got to find the one which fucking suits your specific skill set, style, genetics, everything else to a T. And the guys who can see their own path and follow it, those are the guys who are going to go far. That's how I feel about the matter, at least. You know, so keep an open mind, but take everything with a fucking pinch of salt compared to your own physical experience. That's my ending statement of the quad day today. But let's just do a little in conclusion. Heavy weights were lifted, hamstrings were burning, quads were not crazy pumped at the end, but I know why. It's just because I'm not full of fucking carbs. So good workout all around. Now I get to go home, chill. I'll talk about the food I'm gonna eat a little bit later too, but we can save that for the car. So if you're getting ready to hit legs, you better fucking squat. God damn it. Let's get in the fucking car.
There we go. Yeah, perfect. So a little bit of time has passed. I went to the, I was fucking around in the basketball courts with one of my friends, Noah. What do you think? And honestly, I bet you'd be surprised. Can Sam at 243 grab a rim with both hands? You're goddamn right I can. But I felt like I was gonna explode my knees. So I don't think I really want to do that again. But yeah, don't worry. Even at 240, haven't lost the hops. I could never dunk. I don't think I could ever dunk, but I've always had a decent vertical. So yeah, I think, oh my God. I shot like fucking probably 33s. I made one of them, but the rest of them, like the distance was fine and I was hitting rim every time. I just don't have that. I don't have the feel for actually throwing it straight, but whatever. I'm not a competitive basketball player. I don't need to, those numbers don't mean much to me apart from just for a little bit of post-workout funsies. But speaking of fucking around at the basketball court, that's cardio, man, you know? If you legit, I mean, I'm not a huge post-workout cardio fan. You know, after I'm done with the hard workout, I do want to go straight to the house, chill, eat my food, but it's not going to hurt you. I really don't think it's going to hinder your recovery from your lift too much. I do think it will a little, you know, so that's why I do my 30 minutes of cardio in the morning, far from the workout, and then let the workout be the only stressor that I have in the evening. And then as soon as I go home and start eating food, I'm, you know, jump-starting the recovery process. But post-workout, if you fucking break a sweat playing basketball, that counts. That's gonna count as your cardio, you know? The only thing that, like, when I say cardio and when anyone says cardio, the action of like sitting on the treadmill and the action of like pedaling on the bike or taking steps on the Stairmaster, that's not the important part. That's just the mechanism that these guys are using to elevate their heart rate. That's the whole point of cardio, to have an elevated heart rate from normal for a consistent period of time. You know, when I'm sitting on the seated bike, I think I get up in about the 140, 150 beats per minute range. And that's, you know, that's pretty steady. You know, I'm not dying. I can breathe pretty comfortably, still talk a little bit. Or not, like, I don't want to sit and have a fucking full-on conversation while I'm doing my cardio. But, you know, if all I got to do is fucking, you know, have 140 beats per minute heart rate, then, you know, I'm totally fucking good. But, yeah, so if you get that from playing fucking basketball, then, you know, fucking whatever. It's totally cool. So post-workout, I think you're totally fine. There's It's kind of a little bit of high school, college level activity going on. Oh, hey there. Isn't that fun? You know what's kind of nuts for me is when I get to ride around in my little electric bike in my college town, people fucking, not all the time, but if somebody recognizes me, they go, Sam! That's kind of fun. But what the hell was I even just saying? Yeah, so the whole point of cardio is just for a period of time in your day to have your heart rate elevated. So whatever that comes from, you're fine. You know, that could be from your 30 minutes of cardio on the seated bike like I like. It's very controlled, it's very consistent, it's very easy. I can sit and play on my phone the whole time. I mean, it really feels like fucking nothing. Whereas with something like, you know, playing basketball or the Stairmaster, or if you just want to go on a run, or I don't think anybody really does parkour anymore. Not that that was like a regularly done thing, but you know, anything you fucking want to do, as long as your heart rate is elevated to a degree where you're gonna break a sweat for, you know, a consistent 30 minutes. I'm not even saying you have to do it daily. I do think daily cardio is like the final evolution of how you should be doing it. But even if you just do that a couple times a week, you know, 3-4 times, you're gonna notice the benefits for sure. All I'm trying to say there is you don't have to do what would normally be conventionally called like classic boring cardio. You know, you can do whatever you fucking want. Go play with run around with your dog. I don't know if you'd relate to this, but I mean, I can fucking get myself out of breath just running around the backyard, like half wrestling, half chasing and running away from my dog Bella, a little golden doodle with just a touch of Australian Shepherd. You know, fucking whatever you want, right? And that's just good for you in general. You know, even if you're not a lifter and you're not trying to optimize your fucking endurance so that you can lift harder and, you know, breathe better and be able to recover your sets faster, just being an active dude or girl, I'm not gonna fucking, it could be anybody, it's good for you. And we know, everyone knows this. Everybody knows this, right? Come on. You've only got one body that you get to move around with, you know, for the rest of your life. So if you keep it in reasonable shape and like activity levels, you're just gonna have a better time. That's what I feel, at least. But I was going on a pretty serious rant to one of my buddies at the end of the workout today, and I was like, you know, because I feel like in all these videos, at least the YouTube ones, I feel like I'm pretty serious. You know, I'm not really joking too much. You know, like I'm talking about the workout because I want to explain what I'm doing and, you know, talk about how it feels, not be too over the top. But I think in the process of kind of doing that, I've kind of eased up on some of my fucking stances, which I still totally fucking stand behind. So I was getting into a whole like science-based dogma, and look, really that's not my problem. I don't have a problem with anybody who really wants to get into the details and try to optimize their training as hard as they fucking can. My problem comes when, you know, I see people not only lifting in a certain way, but endorsing this as like this is the way to do it. It's scientifically proven. Like, it just does not compute in my fucking brain, man. You know, I was saying, like I was making this little example, like, okay, wait. So if I lift lighter weights and I do reps further from failure, I leave more reps in reserve, I'm gonna grow more? My mind is blown. Look, no, I don't think that at all, right? My training has not, and I do not think will, progress in such a way that I'm gonna need to use lighter weights over time. Look, I'm not gonna say that when I go so heavy I hurt myself. That's the way to do it. That's pushing the line. That is stupid. I know it. I have been working on that. I mean, when was the last time I pulled anything? I think it was like my left pec, what, like 4, no, longer than 6 months ago or something. And even then, the amount of times I pull things are starting to get a little bit more sparse. I am getting better, at least in terms of the training, let's just say safety, you know, because if you hurt yourself training, you are a fool. Now, sometimes it's just luck, and I mean, We've all seen it. You know, I know one of my friends, he was benching 185, a weight which he's perfectly comfortable with, and he fucking pulled his pec hard. Like, he didn't rip it totally off the bone, but he had a really good, like, he was really bruised. I've never had a muscle pull or a tweak where it gave me any visual signs. Like, if you feel something and then 2 hours later you've got a big ass bruise in that area, you did some serious damage to the point where you really are going to need to recover manually. Like, you're going to need to do some massage, some, you know, whatever kind of backing off and easing back in. Like, when you got a big spirally bruise somewhere on your pec or your bicep or anything, you got a problem. So I've never had anything that bad. But I do think that training as hard as you can will never be a bad move. And, you know, to kind of speak against that and to sort of promote like easier lifts, like, oh, don't overtrain, you know, don't go too hard, you're not going to recover. Look, I mean, that could be, you could be fucking right if you're a complete outlier. You know, like, if I came to the gym and I tried to do, you know, triple the amount of quad volume that I just did today, for one thing, that would not be any more effective than the amount that I did, because all I'm doing is extra damage. So something like that, yeah, I'm probably going to feel it tomorrow. If I did triple damage, or no, if I did triple the volume, same intensity, I'd feel it. I'd be way extra sore, you know, because I've pushed myself to the point of just damage rather than like muscular stimulation, you know. And that's kind of following the logic which some guys love to say, which is to stimulate, don't annihilate. But I think the general consensus of, like, let's just call it the toughness of your fucking body, is so low, man. I mean, you got to remember, the human body itself, for one thing, literally fucking apex predator of the planet. We did not make it to this state. And, you know, we didn't make it to where we are now in a way which, if you train too hard one day, you're gonna fucking start to atrophy and die as an organism. You know, the whole nature of fucking life, for the most part, is adapting to new stresses and new stimulation, becoming stronger because of it, and then being able to handle more stresses. You know, because when you go into an insane workout and you come out of it, that's almost a new bar. Like, if you had the best workout of your life, it was the hardest, you also went the hardest, you know, you pushed yourself to your absolute fucking limit, that's your new bar of what you can reach. And, you know, who's to say that you won't reach even higher than that in intensity? But as you do that, you should be able to push yourself harder and be able to have better and more intense workouts. And the nature of intensity, though it is, you know, kind of just your effort, part of it is fucking physical output. You know, I'm not gonna be a 700-pound squatter. I'm not gonna bench 450 pounds for reps. You know, there are weights which, in a bodybuilding context, and also just based on my own strength level, are just absolutely unnecessary. I totally fucking agree with that. But to do sets where you're capable of a certain amount of weight for a reasonable amount of reps with reasonable form, you know, could be a little bit of body language in there with some cheating-ish reps toward the end, but that's toward the end, you know. Like, I was kind of, so I posted in the last arm day, that first set of 70-pound dumbbell curls I did, I stand behind those 100 fucking percent. The form was fucking perfect. There was zero swinging, zero nothing, just straight up 70 pound. I got a solid squeeze at the top too. And still, you know, I'm gonna see comments, whoa, curling the 70s is too heavy. What are you fucking talking about? If it was a good set, then no, it is not too heavy, right? Now, you know, your strength is relative, and it's not necessarily about the specific poundage. But if you yourself can handle the 40-pound dumbbells, and you can do a set of 15 with the 40-pound dumbbells, or let's say you can do a set of 10 with the 40-pound dumbbells. That's your max for a set of 10, and you can do it pretty well. Like, your form doesn't even break down. You don't really start swinging until maybe those last 2 reps. Even though you have to swing those last 2, I call that a good fucking set. So, in the grand scheme of muscle stimulating sets, yeah, light squeezing sets are gonna do it. I do them on occasion. I mean, you fucking seen them, especially on leg extensions and triceps. I see it a lot. And then mainly for concentration work. Like when I do dumbbell curls, or maybe not even dumbbell curls, but let's say I'm doing preacher curls, or I'm doing rope extensions, or I'm doing leg extensions, or fucking pec flies. Those are the sets where I'm going to be inclined to be a bit more controlled with the weight, really hold it, not much swinging, and then only once I've hit close to failure with reasonable form is when I might get a little jerky with it to try to, you know, just squeeze those last few drops out of the towel of my specific targeted muscle. So those are sets where lighter weight, really focusing on the squeeze and burn, I like. But with some movements where you really want to overload the tension aspect of the set, like with those squats. The hamstring curl today was a little bit too heavy, but yeah, I would do some heavy hamstring curls and feel totally fucking good about it if, you know, I could tell that it was within a weight that I can handle, and, you know, I got at least 6 or 7 good reps, plus maybe even just a few jerky ones, or gave myself a little bit of assistance. You know, I really do feel like I need to make this clear, and partially even just for myself, because I can, you know, I feel like I already said this when I was posing down, but I've been open, you know, I've been listening to what you may call professional advice, and look, there's a lot of aspects which I've taken away from that, especially diet-wise. I'm still going to have my treats, but this bulk I do feel is going to be the most effective one that I've done, just from being able to kind of use some of the stuff that's rubbed off on me from everyone else I've been around over the last few months. But in terms of the training, no one is going to be able to tell you how to do it better than you can after a certain period. As a beginner, do not listen to that part. You know, I'm not necessarily talking to the beginner lifter. That's where you should listen to what other people have to say, you know, what other reputable people have to say. That's where you should be the most open to absorbing information, listening to specific workout videos, you know, spam some old Athlete X, like how to do a tricep push down, you know, how to get good bench form, you know, the basics. Those are things that you do need to be taught, and that you should follow, you know, pretty much what would be called the general consensus. You know, because if you just went into the gym with no bearing of like what to do, how to do it, or anything, left to your own devices, I don't think you really, you know, why would you need to do the footwork of figuring out which movements to do when all that stuff's already been figured out for you? You know, the path of specific movements and machines over the last, I mean, pretty much 100, I don't know, when did bodybuilding really first start? Exercise has been around forever, right? I'm talking Greeks, discus. But in terms of real, like, bodybuilding specific training, let's say, you know what, machines, I mean, how old is the barbell, right? When did the barbell first get introduced? Not 200 years ago, only like 150. So in the course of that time, all the equipment in your gym has been made, has been designed, it's been fucking tested. Like, it does what it's supposed to. A leg extension hits your quad pretty fucking well. But, you know, what I'm saying is, the beginner, listen to what everyone's got to say, right? Be really open, you know, try specific things, do it for a specific amount of time, see what happens, and maybe try something else next. But as you progress and you get more experienced, you should be able to develop kind of your own taste for what you know has worked for you, you know? So, you know, try your heavier sets, try some lighter burning sets. And part of it isn't even just like what's the most, you know, scientifically backed effective style. Whatever kind of sets that you can push the hardest on are gonna be fucking more stimulating for you. If somebody has no problem taking a set of 3 15-pound squats, like put them in my shoes of like strength, like swap somebody's mind with my body. So I'm just to keep the weights, like whatever. If someone can do a 30 rep set of squats to absolute failure, and that's how they like to train, you know, for them to go really heavy on squats, it doesn't do it for them. They start using glutes, they don't feel the same quad activation. Then that's how they should fucking lift, because that's how they can push themselves the hardest. They should do other shit too. You know, don't let your training get too stale. But, you know, specific things like that, I mean, like I was saying before, you really do have to just figure it out yourself. There's no answer. As good as Chat GPT gets, it's not going to be able to tell you the best quad workout compared to what you could just figure out over the course of a few years. And that kind of sucks because it takes a long time. But you just develop a skill for it, you know. You could tell, and you could have an apprentice fucking electrician tell you every specific thing about how to wire a house and how to fucking, like, which circuits to, but he's just not going to have that same connection with what he's doing to the fucking 20-year veteran. So that's what I'm saying there. So take the advice of even people larger than you with a, you know, take it in context, of course. That's all I'm saying there. So same thing goes for me, man. If you listen to some shit that I say about how I like to train and you say, Sam, you're a fucking nutcase, I don't want to do that, I like doing it like this, and this has been working pretty well for me, then guess what? If that lets you grow, then that is fucking sick. That is what I want to see. And across the board, your intensity and just how much of a nut you can be in the gym, I think that has a very strong correlation, at least approaching 1-to-1 on your progression rate. So never think that it's a problem. And I mean this as seriously as I've said everything. Never think it's a fucking problem to go harder than you already are. So that's, I think that's my finishing quote. So plan now is to go eat some, I bought some cubed steaks. They're meant for a stew, but what I do is I just marinate the whole thing, put it in a Ziploc, throw it in the sous vide, so they're perfectly cooked, and I'm really just gonna eat it right out of there. You know, they're not gonna be seared, but in terms of like, well, 0 dirty dishes get produced by sous videing a steak, and especially cubed steaks. So I'm gonna combine that with probably a pack of ramen, and then maybe just one more meal, and I'm ready for bed. So chest day tomorrow should be a fucking good one. So I will see you then.